What's up guys, and welcome back to another video for me, and today we have yet another settings video for my wheel and project cars. So I did the first one and I thought, you know what, it feels alright, I can drive with it, not too bad. Now I've seen a few comments from you guys which I've gone back and retested, and I've got another set of settings for you to try out. Now this one will probably result in the overall feel of the wheel being a bit lighter than my first one, but it's something that you guys can try out as well. And I'm also going to go through the individual force feedback settings for all the individual cars. So it's slightly confusing, there's quite a lot to go over, so we shall begin. Options and help. So controls, so we've done all the normal stuff. Configuration, we've got dead zone 0, steering sensitivity 40. All the dead zones are in fact 0. And one main thing to do is make sure your brake sensitivity and throttle sensitivity is 50, not 100 that I said in my last one. If you have 100, it removes the linearity, which is, if you push the pedal 50%, then it will go 50% in game. If you put it on the stock settings, which I believe they are now, the throttle and the brake sensitivity at 50, then however much you push the brake, it'll brake that much. You know, however much you push the throttle, it'll brake that much as well. Brake or accelerate that much as well. So have these on 50, don't have them on 100 like the other one. And thank you to, I'm just going to have a look on my YouTube channel now to see who it was that mentioned that. But as we do, as that's loading up, speed sensitivity is 0. That's 0. I've actually got a bit of damper on this as well now. I've added a bit of damper to it. I didn't have any damper on there previously, but I've added a 42 onto it for that. Force feedback, I've still got a 100. I'm not sure what that does. I think that's probably for a frantic wheel. And advanced, I've got off altogether. Quickly back onto the sensitivity settings. It was Clinton who made a comment saying changing steering, throttle, brake and clutch to 100 removes linearity. So thank you for that. So that's the throttle, and the brake sensitivity, leave that on 50. So we'll just back out of this and we'll go back into the Calibrate force feedback. Now this probably isn't a great deal different from the stock settings anyway. So tyre force 100, I won't go through them all, but you can see what I've got on screen. I don't think, or I can't remember if I've changed anything major from the stock settings. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and actually tinkered with the car settings, individual car settings itself. That's the big difference between this and probably any other racing game. You have to do the force feedback settings for each individual car. So I'll just go through these. You can pause the video if you get to it that you want to try and copy. But I think they probably are pretty much stock. So that's that done. That's the configuration done. And now we'll just go on to the individual car settings. Just wait for that to save. So yeah, so thanks to you guys that actually made a comment and had a little bit of feedback from the from my last video. Hopefully this one will help you and everybody else out as well. I know there's a lot of confusion, not only for the wheel guys but also for the pad guys on what the hell all these settings do. And at least the pad guys don't have to deal with any of the force feedback stuff. So the track I'm doing is Sakito, or Suzuka as it's meant to be, and with the car we have is the race Pagani Zonda. So I'm just going to load in and I'll go through the individual car force feedback settings and what they do and how you can change them to make it feel better. Because obviously the different cars you drive, they all feel completely different force feedback wise. So don't tinker with the main settings, just set the main settings up as they are and then do the individual car ones themselves. Now I'll show you what I've got, but I'm not going to say that's going to work for every single car. I'm not going to say it works for you on this car on this track, because everybody's different, but feel free to go and give it a whirl if you want. So we're going to edit tuning setup, and I'm going to force feedback. So we'll leave master scale for a moment. So FX scale, so if you want to increase the force feedback for the x-axis, so that's accelerating and braking, then you move that to the right, so increase it. If you want to decrease it, then move it to the left. Pretty simple. FY scale, that's for when you turn left and right, so that's the horizontal axis. So if you want more force feedback and more weight in the wheel, move it to the right. If you want less weight and less feel, move it to the left. I've got it set to 52, works pretty well for me. FZ scale, so that is when you go over bumps, so over crests, over rumble strips. Now I have noticed some of the rumble strips actually give you some feedback, some of the rumble strips don't. I'm going to guess it's the severity of the rumble strip, so don't expect it to work on every single rumble strip. But yeah, over bumps, over rumble strips, stuff like that, again, if you want to increase that, move it to the right. If you want to decrease it, move it to the left. The MZ scale is, the best way to refer it is when you're turning to a fast right-hander and you lose or you get understeer. The higher you have that, and the more it represents that losing of feedback. So when you're turning right and you get understeer all of a sudden, and it goes, the wheel goes really loose, that's what that scale represents, I believe. So that's what those ones do. Now, once you've got these set up individually, it probably will take you a while. You're going to have to invest quite a bit of time in sorting these force feedback settings out. The master scale, what it'll do, if you increase that, that'll gradually increase the FX, FY and FZ scale and MZ scale all together. So it's like a master volume switch. So you turn them all up or you turn them all down. So set these individually how you want them, and then set the master scale. I've got it on 42. That might be a bit strong for some people, but it works pretty well for me. The smoothing, we've got the smoothing that goes against, so we've got FX smoothing, FY smoothing to match the FX scale and the FY scale. So if you're going through a right-hander, for instance, and you feel it, the force feedback's a little bit jerky, but you're getting it, so it's kind of going on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off really fast, then just increase that by 10, and it should just smooth it off a little bit. It's something you have to do trial and error. I prefer it to have that. I'm not getting that up and down scale, but if I was, then I know I've done it in the past and I've tested it with this, that if you increase this, it will smooth it out a little bit. I've also found you only need to increase or decrease or increase this a small amount. I don't think I've ever gone past 10, to be honest. And then the arm angle, so as I said, I moved the video. When you're driving, if the wheel feels really loose in the centre, and then you get the force feedback after you turned it like 30 degrees or so, then move this to the left. And likewise, if you want to get a bit more play in the centre of the wheel, move it to the right. I've got it to 1700. Again, for this car, it feels pretty well. So these are the things you're going to have to try and tinker out and work out for yourselves. It will be different for every person, and it will be different for every single car, but luckily once you save it, it saves it to that car for good, so you shouldn't have to revisit it again. Whew. So there you go, guys. Right, that's the second video done for this. Give that a whirl. Give me some more feedback in the comment section, because it doesn't only help me out, it helps everybody else out that watches this video and reads all the comments, and there are quite a few people who are struggling with settings, I know, for the wheel and for the pad. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, or if you found this helpful, then hit the like button, because it helps it go up in the search rankings and everybody else can find it and everybody else can get their wheel set up for project cars. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this one helps. Give me some feedback, and until my next video, I'll see you all soon.